Odyssey's going back to school, and we've got all the supplies you need, like A-plus exclusive music stations and podcasts to help you or your student excel. Wake up and get the school day started with Acoustic Sunrise, the best mix of acoustic pop. Hit the books with Classical Odyssey, passionate classical music to help you focus while you study. Listen to essential school podcasts like Grammar Girl's Quick and Dirty Tips for Better Writing, and be inspired with TED Talks Daily. Get back to school with new exclusive stations, plus all your favorite local radio stations and podcasts on Odyssey.
This month on the 11th, writer Hanif Abdurraqib travels back to the summer of 1996 and revisits the album that carried him through a period of intense change.
The third track on the album is one that sends me back to that summer perhaps quicker than any other.
Ready or not, here I come, you can't hide. Gonna find you and take it slowly.
That's this month on the 11th, a new podcast from Pineapple Street Studios.
Time to talk to the president of baseball operations for the Kansas City Royals, Dayton Moore. How's that new title sound for you, Dayton? Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. Appreciate it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and really looking forward to the restructure of our baseball operations department. And it's as I mentioned yesterday, it's the right thing for us as the game has evolved and it's gotten more and more complex, as we know, and just trying to take advantage of everybody's skill sets to bring the necessary synergy, to all the different areas of baseball operations.
All right, before we get into what all of this kind of means...
What will we do with all the old leftover business cards?
The old leftover business cards, that's right. You got to recycle those, right? I mean, you got to get new business cards.
I don't think I've given out one business card in 15 years.
How excited is JJ to make that first trade, though? He got to be like a little kid coming into your office. Can we make a trade now, Dayton?
Yeah, you know what? It's like we mentioned yesterday. I mean, I think it's the conversations always are very natural and fluid, and I can honestly tell you, I've made the final decision on the execution of trades, but the overwhelming majority of ideas have been presented to me. Any measure of success that I've ever had is because other people have helped me along the way and relied on their expertise. And before I became a general manager, I used to have all kinds of ideas, and I'd present them to John Sherholtz, and sometimes he would go with it, sometimes he wouldn't. But my point is, you were freed up to think really, really clearly about a lot of different things. And then you become a general manager, and things start moving very, very fast, and you don't have a ton of time to think. And this position is going to allow me to, I believe, think more clearly, look at this thing from a global kind of perspective, allow other people to concentrate on the day-to-day activity, deal with a lot of the things that you have to respond to, and you can't be as proactive as you'd like during the season. Well, this position is going to allow me to utilize the experience, be with people, interact with people, take more time with people, listen better, and hopefully be able to present ideas and allow us to, as I said before, operate more freely and freed up and see things more clearly.
Sounds like it kind of rejuvenates you as well, right?
Oh my gosh, it really does. I mean, we've been working. We've known for about 2 months this is kind of the direction that we're headed, and so JJ's been traveling with the team quite a bit, and I've had a chance to really focus and concentrate on some of our processes in the minor leagues and how we're doing things. Spend more time with studying the upcoming draft of players. You just have more time to do that, So, that started the first 3 or 4 years, Josh. I had opportunity to do a lot of that, and then, as I said, the job starts moving really, really fast. It gets more complex for a lot of different reasons, and but this is going to allow me to do that. Spend more time with our culture and pouring into people, and again, just sharing experiences and doing my part to, keep the morale as high as possible.
So Dayton, if you're listing out like things you're going to accomplish or want to accomplish in this role, what's kind of at the top of the list of president of baseball operations?
Well, communicate very well with John Sherman. That's first and foremost, and make sure that that harmony exists between John, JJ, myself, and Mike Matheny. I mean, that's going to be really, really important, and I'm going to make sure that I do my part to make sure those waters are steady and the communication is very clear and open, and we all understand everybody, and there's that transparency that's necessary for us to evaluate everything that we do honestly. The evaluation of players is a big part of what I love to do and how I grew up in the game. And then not only that evaluation of the players, but making sure that that vision of our scouting staff is communicated properly to everybody in the organization, and making sure that those development plans are being followed and a very consistent way. And so that's primarily going to be. And then the other thing, Bob, you both know, you and Josh know. I mean, this community is really important to all of us, and I want to continue to use this platform, to do well in our community. Our C10 leadership program, which I'm so proud of. It's going to give me an opportunity to spend more time, with those kids and those families, and so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Talk with President of Baseball Operations, Dayton Moore. With that title of President, do you get Secret Service or anything like that?
And do we have to call you Mr. President?
I don't think I'm going that good.
Do you answer to Mr. President now, too?
No, come on, Bobby. Now you guys, look, they're already all over me, okay? They are the entire front office, coaching staff. Rusty Kuntz has worn me out. So but it's all in good fun.
Yeah, I can see Rusty recall you Mr. President all the time. That seems like right up his alley, right?
Yeah. I think hail to the chief and all the fun stuff. But,
outstanding. Hey, you're having fun with it. That's what's important.
Cool.
And you did earn it, Dayton. I mean, what you did. I talked till I'm blue in the face about what you guys were able to accomplish and have accomplished already as an organization in Major League Baseball. I just don't think enough people realize what the impact was of the Royals winning that World Series in 2015. You not only won the World Series and beat all the other teams in baseball, you essentially beat the model of what baseball's designed at, to kind of make the upper echelon teams with the money the teams to win the World Championship. If I'm not mistaken, since the strike, 1994, you guys are like the only team in market 20 and below from a TV market standpoint to win a World Championship. Like, I don't think that's talked about enough, what you guys have been able to accomplish already here.
Well, we certainly we'll have plenty of time to reflect at some point in time. But, I mean, Bob, we want to do more. And, we want to continue to, right now we're enjoying how this team is performing. I think since the All-Star break, we have the best record in the division. Watching what Salvador Perez is doing tonight, I mean, that is just extremely special. To see how Nicky Lopez is taking advantage of his opportunity should inspire us all in all aspects of our life. And so that's what sport does, and that's what we want it to continue to do, and what Kansas City Royals players are going to continue to represent. And as I said before, I'm going to be so focused on our culture going forward, and hopefully having a huge part on continuing to raise the next generation of players. So we always have those examples for our community, for our kids, because athletes and baseball players, I want our guys to be role models. That doesn't mean they're perfect. Part of being a great role model is when you do make mistakes, like a Danny Duffy has done in the past, you're accountable for them. You're transparent about things. You try to move on and get better and improve your life, and so that's really, really important to me. before last year's draft, we had the opportunity to speak to over 100 players and their families, and we just love sharing, that vision, and we're going to have more opportunity to do that going forward. And I just think it's necessary and important, just for the future of our organization, and also I think it's important for baseball.
Talking with Dayton Moore here on 610 Sports Radio. When you look back at your tenure as the GM, what was your favorite move that you made as the general manager? We're like, yeah, we got that. That's the one that I'm always going to look back on.
Probably Johnny Cueto, because when we were able to get Johnny Cueto, I knew now we had a chance to. Our pitching staff, our starting rotation, had a chance to match up. And I knew that's what was going to be required if we were going to win a World Series. And you got to have guys that match up in that rotation. And that was the one move. And I mean, his first outing, I think he shut out the Detroit Tigers 5-0. And then after that, it was a little rocky. And, everybody was kind of shaking their heads. And I was wondering. I was a little, frustrated or wondering how it was going to ultimately turn out. But at the end of the day, I kept saying, well, you know what? As long as he's healthy, he's going to be fine. And then when he got into the playoffs, I mean, he was outstanding. I mean, he had that issue, obviously, that hiccup in Toronto, but the way he pitched against Houston, the way he pitched against the Mets in the World Series, and then acquiring Edison Volquez, because Volke was a winner, and Volke was a competitor, and Renee and I knew this kid was going to take the ball, and he was going to compete. And, of course, when he had one of the most tragic things ever to experience in his life, the loss of his father, he bounced back. He overcame that in the right spirit and came back and pitched in the World Series, and obviously helped lead us to victory. But those are the ones that stand out.
You mentioned Cueto, and I know you've always kind of had that thought of the fans as well and what the perception is. And did you realize at the time, you mentioned how the pitching matched up, but just the symbolic nature of that move, and that was our true indication of this is different and we're going for it. Did you have that feel when that deal was made too?
Yeah, I did, Josh. I didn't know how it was ultimately going to work out, because oftentimes you make these deals, and truthfully, the deal we made in 2017 to improve the bullpen and acquiring Milky Cabrera, I truthfully thought that was going to impact our team equally as well, in different ways, but because our guys were performing at a very high level, and it was the final year of a lot of these guys' contracts, and I thought that was going to put us over the top. But so I felt really good about both of those deals, and but again, just able to execute, and we traded away some good players. Sean Manaea to get Ben Zobrist was big for us, and Sean's pitching again this tonight. And hopefully it doesn't happen, but I remember when we made the deal and we were getting ready to make the deal, Rene Francisco said, look, we're going to have to make this deal. I agree with it. I agree with the move. And not everybody did, and that's the nature of front offices. And that'll continue to be the case. But Rene said to me, he said, look, he's not going to hurt us for 2 or 3 years, but someday he's probably going to stick it to us. I mean, he's going to be a good major league pitcher. And but we had no choice. I mean, we had to go for it. That was the right mindset. And we didn't come here to be mediocre and just be status quo. And we were clearly going to win the division that year, regardless whether we made the deals or not, and be in the postseason. But, we weren't satisfied with that. We wanted to win a world championship, and that's where we'll be someday again, and we'll be able to utilize those experiences and make these decisions with a lot more comfort because of what we went through in the past.
610 Sports Radio, KCSP Kansas City, WDF HD2 Liberty, and Odyssey Station.
Dayton, what was your toughest moment, your hardest moment as general manager?
The challenging part of it is, truthfully, is just managing your personal life and that balance. Because if we're honest, we're addicted to baseball. This is what we've been doing since we were little boys. You can never get enough. You're always trying to do more. You're caught up in the moment. You love to compete. And so when you have that, when you take on that mindset and that attitude, that kind of becomes, who you are. And so sometimes the people around you that you love the most get a little neglected. I'm fortunate that Mary Ann has always been a stable rock in our family and has been able to speak truth into my life at the right times. And she's not somebody that every single day will remind me of something, but, if I get off the rails, she'll speak truth to me, and I know if she's saying it, that it's something that I need to adjust and listen. And so, but that's always been the challenge. The best times, Bob, is just really just watching, people at the ballpark every single night. And I'm getting a chance. I learned that from Ned. I knew that Ned was going to be Ned's last year, pretty much going into that season, this final year. And I began to watch Ned a lot. As you know, I'm up in that suite pretty much every day around 2 o'clock, and that'll remain my routine, and watch everything that goes on that field. And I'd watch Ned, how he'd interact with people, how he'd interact with the fans, and I could tell that he was just kind of taking in every single moment. And since then, I've been more intentional about that. And Ryan Lefebvre's always reminded me of that as well. And so I pay attention at the ballpark. I watch how families interact and how young people chase foul balls. And, when they do get that ball, the excitement and then the thrill of, what the game presents. And those are the things that I pay attention to more and more these days. And, that's what I enjoy most about the game. And the wins and losses are fun. Just the love to compete and the desire to compete. But at the end of the day, it's the relationships and watching people, enjoy this game, just like all of us did when we were little boys. And we're never going to stop looking at this game from the eyes of our youth. And but there's more work to do, and I'm going to be, as I've said before, just as involved as I've always been. But I think just in a more strategic and meaningful way. Just for example, when there's an injury to a player or a player's dealing with this year with flu-like symptoms, I'm going to be made aware of it, but I'm not going to need to get in the weeds and who's coming up and what the move is and how we manage the roster. JJ and Scott understand all that, and it's just kind of overkill to get so many people involved with that and just let them manage that day-to-day roster movement and management.
You mentioned watching the kids run for the foul balls and taking, kind of stock of what the fans are doing and whatnot. And obviously yesterday the new stadium kind of got dropped out. A lot of people who may have put their fingers in their ears and want Kauffman Stadium to remain forever. What's your take about a new home for the ball club?
I trust John. I really do. This John Sherman is extremely thoughtful. He cares deeply about Kansas City. There's nothing that we would do or he would do or recommend that wasn't in the best interest of Kansas City. And I think he explained it very well yesterday. A lot of people have presented him with multiple ideas, and he's listening. He's looking into all of them with the mindset of how can we continue to make Kansas City the best place to live in the world. And that's what he's about. And you know how I am, Bob. Anybody, anytime, anywhere, that's always been my mindset, as long as the bases are 90 feet and 60 feet 6 inches. And I think every ballpark is beautiful. I love every field, every baseball field that I've ever been to. I've enjoyed that atmosphere and that day, whether it be in the country towns, the barrios in the Dominican Republic, to Asia, to the United States, the urban core. Wherever I've been, I've enjoyed baseball fields. But, I think John is again, very thoughtful about what we need to do going forward. He has kind of a big picture mindset of how everything affects the major sports teams here in Kansas City and what's best for sports in general. I think he relies heavily on Kathy Nelson's experience and expertise, and so I think he's just a great listener to a lot of people, and so we'll see how that unfolds. But any way I can help in that, I will, and it should be an exciting time as we move forward.
No doubt. Dayton, we are excited for you. We're excited for JJ, excited for this organization. The ball club, like you mentioned, has been playing great the second half of the year. Salvi's doing his thing. It's a lot of fun to watch. A couple weeks left in, obviously, this season, and then the playoff talk starts as soon as September ends and we get ready to start focusing on next year, because I know a lot of fans are ready for already 2022 to see what this team is going to be based on what we've seen over the last few months.
Well, I appreciate it, Bob. Thank you for having me, and you and Josh have a great day.
Take care. Dayton Moore, the president of baseball operations. Yes.
We can still call him, right?
Yeah. Oh,
okay,
yeah. We'll still call him.
I just wanted to make sure that was still the case.
Fesco in the Morning, brought to you by Santa Fe Auto Sound, Kansas City's home for car audio since 1967.
How is your mental health? Billie Eilish, Kevin Love of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Imagine Dragons, Lil Nas X, and so many more feel the same pressures we do. They're joining our host, Carson Daly, for I'm Listening, September 23rd, starting at 6 p.m. right here. Carson and a cast of mental health experts, athletes, musicians, other notables, and you will share stories, insights, and help us all remember that we are not alone. Please join us, because talking about our mental health has the power to save lives. For more, visit imlistening.org.
Odyssey's going back to school, and we've got all the supplies you need, like A+ exclusive music stations and podcasts to help you or your student excel. Wake up and get the school day started with Acoustic Sunrise, the best mix of acoustic pop. Hit the books with Classical Odyssey, passionate classical music to help you focus while you study. Listen to essential school podcasts like Grammar Girl's Quick and Dirty Tips for Better Writing, and be inspired with TED Talks Daily. Get back to school with new exclusive stations, plus all your favorite local radio stations and podcasts on Odyssey.
This month on the 11th, writer Hanif Abdurraqib travels back to the summer of 1996 and revisits the album that carried him through a period of intense change.
The third track on the album is one that sends me back to that summer perhaps quicker than any other.
Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide. Gonna find you and take it slowly.
That's this month on the 11th, a new podcast from Pineapple Street Studios.